Good morning to everyone sitting over here. My name is Sivanjyoti Das. I read in class 8 and I'm from Modern Academy Tangla.
My name is Prithviraj Namsari. I read in class 8 and I am from Arunda Academy Tongla.
So today we are going to present this topic, the riverine brick industry in Tangla and its impacts on the ecosystem, which comes under the focal theme of NCSE 2022, Understanding Ecosystem for Health and Well-being. Now let's come to the aims of the project. What it says here is, if there is indiscriminate cutting of topsoil from fertile land or riverbank by anyone or riverine brick industries, then there is a huge impact on the ecosystem, such as loss of soil fertility, riverbank erosion, change of river course, degradation of water quality, and even degradation of land. So, in 1987, there lived the well-known businessman of Tangla, late Naoram Chandra Das. So he set up an industry at the bank of the river Nonai, which was around 1.5 kilometers south to the Tangla town. Now this industry produced 2 crores bricks by the time it was disbanded. Now, to make bricks we need soil, and for this purpose, the laborers that he hired dug 2 large ditches, and this number rose up to 22 large ditches by the time it was disbanded in 1992. Now, since the ditches are very close to the river, it led to a disaster that occurred in the river Nonai in 2003. So, considering all of these issues, the aims of our project has been to study the changed course of the river Nonai. As you can see here, the river Nonai was in a different course in 1987, but it is in a different course at the present. To locate the actual position of the brick claim, to find out the actual numbers of the ditches dug, to estimate the distance of the brick lane from the river Nonai, to find out the actual cause of the disaster, to find out the risks and hazards of riverine brick industries in general, and lastly, to estimate the total loss.
Now, let's come to the hypothesis of our project. Our project was based on the following hypotheses. First, construction of brick industries along the river banks is dangerous. As we can see here, the brick industry is very near to the river, which is very dangerous. Next, the close proximity of the ditches dug to the river bank had led to change of river course at Tongla. The riverine brick industry of Tongla had caused indiscriminate destruction of flora and fauna in Tongla. The brick industry had an adverse effect on the river ecosystem of Nonai. The brick industry had caused many people to part their with homes, and lastly, the brick industry was the cause of the disaster of Nonai River introduction.
The work plan of our project. The project work involved a number of activities that were carried out in the field, such as we started our project from April 2022 to July 2022 with the help of our guide teacher. We also visited the abandoned brick field for the case study. Now, during our visit to the abandoned brick field, we collected 3 local people and 3 people that worked in the brick industry. So, for collecting data, 2 sets of questionnaires have been prepared. As you can see, the 2 questionnaires are in this here. Also, the methodology of our project. We visited the site with the person selected with a set of questions about the industry. We also collected data about the original river course in the 1990s. We located the 5 ditches of the brick fields that are still scattering around that area and have survived the disaster. And we have also visited the Revenue Circle and Tangla Town Committee for data. The data collected were arranged in tables for further analysis.
Now, let's come to the data analysis. From the data collected, we have analyzed them to get the followings. First, the brick industry flourished between 1987 to 1992. Next, erosion in river bank of Nonai started from 1994 to 2003. In 1987, 2 large ditches measuring 50 meter into 35 meter into 1 meter were dug in 1987. The average distance of the ditches were 200 meters. In the subsequent years, number of ditches were rose up to 22. The brick industry stopped producing bricks after 1992.
From the introduction, we have known that since the ditches were very close to the river, it was what that caused the disaster. But also it had triggered a large-scale erosion during the rainy seasons from the years 1993 to 2002. All of the 22 ditches that were dug were flooded over by the water regularly during the rainy seasons. In the year 2000, 2 of the ditches that were closest to the river were claimed by the river, and river Nonai slightly grew in volume. As you can see here, in this area there are 22 ditches dug, from which the 2 that were closest to the river were claimed, and the river Nonai grew slightly in volume in that particular area. This process continued in the following years of 2001 and 2002. The same thing that took place in the year 2000 happened again in these years. The river Nonai kept on growing in volume and kept on claiming more and more ditches. But in the year 2003, The river Nonai grew tremendously in volume and also changed its course by claiming 15 more ditches. The result of our project, the changed course of the river Nonai had sounded the dead bell for the ecosystem inhabiting in the adjoining areas of the river. The result of the study are, since 1993, repeated flooding has resulted in the accumulation of sand, and this has led to a decrease in the soil fertility. Since the soil is very sandy, it has lost its ability to hold water. This is why the chances of soil erosions have increased. To facilitate this large-scale production of bricks, vast areas of trees or forests have been cut. Trees were cut by the laborers that were hired for processes such as cooking, etc. This unplanned manner of digging the ditches took a great toll on the ecosystem. River Nonai changes course in 2003 after clearing 17 of the ditches that were dug. In that disaster, 450 bighas of land has been lost to the river, among which 200 bighas were arable land, 270 bighas was habitable land, and a mere 80 bighas was fallow land. So from this study, we have understood a very important lesson that one should not mess with nature and its natural resources to provide for their own personal needs. We cannot afford to make the same mistake that has caused in such a huge calamity. Rather, we should stop the processes such as unplanned digging of ditches near the river and construction of riverine brick industries. We should focus on sustainable practices and renewable sources of energy and give prior importance to the nature and the ecosystem rather than our own personal benefits. The suggestions to solve these problems would be construction of brick industries along the river should be permanently banned. We should think of alternative to bricks for construction purposes for houses and other infrastructure. We should develop new methods of making bricks that does not require soil. We should also educate the mere public on the risks and hazards of riverine brick industries. This can be done by various NGOs and concerned departments of the government. Lastly, experts should write articles in this topic in various news magazines and newspapers to educate the public.
Now, our follow-up activities. First, to create awareness, we have displayed banner in front of our school mentioning the hazards and risks of riverine brick industries. Next, we have also given a short speech in the morning assembly on this topic. And lastly, for public awareness, with the help of our guide teacher, a post was shared in Facebook page.
After carrying out this project, we have multiple things in our mind that we are going to carry out in the future. Such as, we plan to distribute some handwritten banners and placards to the public to create awareness. We will also request our principal sir to deliver a short speech in the next guardians meeting. To not only educate the students of the school but also the guardians. Now we will write articles for our school magazines on this particular topic. Lastly, in the future, we will conduct a more extensive study and carry out a more in-depth research on this topic. Now let's finish our project with our slogan, "The earth is our home, love it or leave it."